Hey, I wanted to ask you, this is maybe a little bit of a caveat or a gear switch, but I wanted to ask you about your time on the Young Turks. And the only reason specifically with the Young Turks is because I actually have some background with them too.
Really?
I built their first professional website right after they launched the live show on Sirius.
No way. That's small world.
Yeah, at the time, they were the only live radio show on Sirius Radio, and I got Sirius like within a month or two of the Dish launch. And so I was on board really early, and they were the first live show. And I was doing a road trip from Idaho at the time to San Diego and listened to their show the whole way and really got into their show. So I offered some of my services. I run an advertising agency, so we work in advertising and marketing. And even back then, I was doing that. And so I offered to build a website with them. So I just wondered what your experience was. I mean, I had nothing but positive things to say about them, but I wondered, what it was like working for such a highly political program versus sort of an entertainment comedy thing. Because with a background in stand-up and things like that,
completely two different things.
It seems like it would be a little different.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So Ben Mankiewicz, who's one of the founders of the Young Turks, is a good friend of mine. And actually, I met him through my other dear friend, Teresa Strasser, who's like my sister. And so because they've been friends forever. So I met Ben, and we, that's where I learned about the Young Turks when they were not literally, Gina, stop doing that. You're not supposed. They were figuratively in a broom closet, basically. It was this tiny, teeny little studio on Wilshire.
Yeah, I remember the Wilshire studio, actually.
Yeah, it was teeny tiny. And so I've kind of, every time I filled in, it's always at a new building, so I have to make sure I have the address because I never know where they're going to be.
Right.
But I politically, I was also a lot young. This is, God, how long ago? 10, 8, 9, something years ago, 7, I don't know. It's a while back. And so I shared not only did I share a lot of their political views, but I was still learning who I was from a political point of view. And I was happy to listen to anybody who I still am. So, just being sort of, liberal leaning and whatever, and coming from that background, and it wasn't a hard fit. And they did a lot of fun, human interest stuff, and I always loved chiming in on that.
I always really appreciated like Cenk's sense of humor and their producer over there, Dave Kohler. I don't know if you knew him.
Oh yeah,
Dave's
no, they're all
a great guy. I mean,
they're so fun,
super cool guys.
Yeah, they're great.
So
now I go on every once in a while and doing Adam's show, which they're just very different. When I go to the Young Turks, not only sometimes do I agree, sometimes do I disagree, but because I'm not there every day, I think that when I'm on, I can offer maybe a little bit of a different perspective. And I know this sounds naive, but I truly don't understand how people with different political leanings from somebody else use that as a reason not to like someone, not to be friends with them, to lose my number. I've just never understood it. I'm friends with, let's just say, a wide swath of people who see the world differently, and I pride myself on that.
And I mean, I suspect in entertainment, it's normally pretty, or known as pretty liberal. And when I started listening to the Turks, they probably weren't as hard edged as they are now. They were much more even. And I think they're still, relatively even. Like they'll hear both sides, but they were really good about that back in the day. And I think as a young person then also, much older now, but as a young person back then,
me too.
That really
I
spoke
think you're
to me.
right. But because I was so, I was friendly with them and still am. And if you're my friend, I automatically respect you and, want to listen to you because you're my friend. So we can have, great discussions. We can have some debates and we can throw in jokes in the middle of it. And we walk away and there's no hard feelings because there doesn't have to be. And, we just, whether it's, a really, really right-leaning guest or a really, really left-leaning guest, because I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I want to understand your perspective. We may or may not end up agreeing, but I'm okay with that.
This is eggs. This is eggs. This is eggs.
Get all the eggs.